stream, but I need to reset here. So reload. Okay. Yes, and then the link will appear. Let me see. Copy. All right. Let's see that. Okay, first of all, I see that it screwed up the title again. So I have to debug it. Okay, wait, so debug, scrape. Okay, it's not showing the right information here. Ah, I see, because it reset here. Wow. News. I probably don't need this. It says it saves, but it's not real. Okay. Well, it would help if I click here. Maybe it's the wrong link. Yeah, there we go. Check the volume. Volume is good. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna just do a little segment here since I have a bit of time to kill, so might as well do something. So I'm just gonna talk about the news actually. So let's see what's in the news. Let me move some windows. And it's not working. No, it is working. Okay, great. Cool. Okay, so let's start, of course, with the main news, I guess, this week. I'm going to talk about it more tomorrow in more depth. So the US primary is finished, and I know a lot of people are very kind of enthusiastic about it and confused perhaps by the result, but I really don't understand what's so confusing about this. We have a system which is completely controlled by two parties. So why are you surprised that it's not changing? And again, I'm going to talk about this more in depth tomorrow, but and the other thing that popped up and just made me feel a bit weird is that people keep saying people of color. And I just think like this should be a derogatory term, because people of color means what exactly? Of color from which perspective? Oh, from a white person's perspective. Oh, okay, I get it. So basically it's racist. Okay, so great. Now, you really shouldn't say certain things. People of color. So, what is a white person then? Is that not a person of color? Is white not a color either? I don't know. Um, you have to remember also that the Native Americans were not white. Okay, so then people of color. I mean, what is your reference point? I don't understand. So anyway, I'm not surprised about the results. I I don't believe in the system. I really don't. I don't believe in the election system. I don't believe that the ballots are counted fairly. Debbie Wasserman Schultz in Florida has a lot of problems right now with the ballots, and that she was deleting some ballots and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stories that have been coming out ever since the last election. And none of these issues have been addressed. Why? Because the Democratic Party refuses to do an autopsy on themselves. So we're not going to see change unless the party actually understands that there is some kind of big problem going on. Stop running around. Okay, that's the first thing I want to say. So let's see what else we got. I need to see this because the screen is bigger here. Okay, so, well, it's mostly about that this week, isn't it? Oh boy. And then there was this weird post here, which, let me get to it. It's around here, I believe. Go further down a little bit. Stop it. Don't. Go away. Especially Kiba, go away. You don't need to do that. Go away. Go. Anyway, so here we have this article. Article is perhaps a loud name for it. And it says right here, mouse is a bit laggy. Anyway, there's this picture of this weird asteroid, and it says that this probably isn't an alien space probe. Well, duh. I mean, like, seriously, I don't understand how these articles even end up on CNN. It seems these days that everything goes on CNN. I remember this one time, it was probably a year ago or something. It was something about Trump, of course, because CNN is absolutely obsessed about Trump. In their madness, though, in the rush and in their hatred of Trump, in the headline, instead of Trump with an M, it was spelled Trump, basically, with an N. So, and this is like the main headline. So this is the first thing that people see when they open the website. I mean, come on. This is, if you want to be taken seriously, you can't have these type of things. You just can't. Anyway, so this asteroid probably isn't an alien space probe. Well, yeah, of course, yeah. Even you need an article about that. You can guess that. But it raises perhaps an interesting side point, which is basically that life on Earth perhaps didn't evolve. I mean, didn't start here. It perhaps came from another place, like Mars. Mars is one option. They say, well, I mean, one theory is that a big asteroid or a big body collided with Mars, and so a chunk of Mars got ejected into space and then eventually landed on Earth. It's a possible scenario. It actually happens on a regular basis. There's always something crashing into Mars, and some debris basically getting ejected out of Mars's atmosphere, and then it goes all the way to Earth. So that perhaps is a more interesting thing to talk about. Not a silly, weird-looking asteroid thing. All right, what else we got? there's this article here, which I think it actually disappeared now, so it does change. Interesting. Ah, no, it's still here. Okay, there we go. It says how pod planes could change travel forever. Well, again, I'm going to talk about something else here. I'm going to talk about travel in general. So right now we have a big problem with climate change. I have this app actually. So while I'm talking, I'm going to try to boot that up. And the app is called, no, that's not the one. That one is for looking at stars in the sky. But there is one, where is it? There we go. The app is called Planes Live. You can get it for free. It's a pretty good app if you're an aviation enthusiast like myself. So let's just, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, because, you know, capturing screen on screen is never a good idea, really. Let me switch over to here. So let me try. Nope, it's too bright. Okay. Well, iPhone can have a shifting brightness. So there we go. That's a bit better. I can zoom in on that. If I can find the ring. All right, so there we go. You have a map here of Japan, and right now you can see all the airplanes that are in the sky at this point in time. So it's going to move, of course, because it's all real time. And well, that's a lot of planes actually. If you just zoom in, of course you get a little bit better view, but it does look like ants on an anthill, really. There's so many of them, so many. So I think that the bigger point about this article here is not about the future of travel, but it's about perhaps we need to kind of rethink travel in general, because this amount of transportation is just not good. If you read the IPCC report, the last one, they said that within the next 13 years, or probably I should say 12, because they're counting to 2030, there's going to be some really drastic changes, which we'll see. I noticed that even here. So every night at 1 o'clock in the morning, I have two thermometers outside. One of them I use to record temperatures, and I've noticed that the general trend. I mean, I've been measuring for about 3 years now, and I noticed that the main trend is definitely up. The average of each month is higher than, let's say, the past year and the year before that. Of course, there are some dips. That's expected. You have this kind of wave motion, but each time the wave gets a little bit higher, and so eventually, I think, for example, in the case of Japan, I don't think we're going to have winter anymore. I think it's just going to be basically spring and a long summer and autumn, but each of these will be pretty hot. So I think we have to rethink the whole thing about traveling. We need to reduce it. In my case, for example, I don't even travel very often, but you have to have a purpose for traveling. So when I went to Venice, for example, a couple of years ago, I saw this one American family there, and the young woman was just basically almost drunk, and she was talking about, let's find another bar. Where can I find another bar? Where can I continue to drink? If that's your case, if that's the case, then don't travel. Really, I mean, you don't need to pollute the planet more, and just to go drink in another country. You can stay in your country and drink all you want until you pass out. I don't care. So I would say that this perhaps needs a rethink of just how much people travel, and of course the forms of transportation. Planes eat a lot of fuel. All right, what else we got? Well, actually, just here, since we're close, so there's an article about food here, and I'm not this one in particular. I don't even know what it's about. It's about something Korean. They had an article a while ago. I have like fruit flies in my house, so I have to keep chasing them. And I have some vegetables growing inside the apartment. So anyway, CNN had an article a while ago where they had the title of the article was the 10 top foods in the world. Nothing pretentious about this title whatsoever. Nothing. Just a little bit, just a smidge pretentious. So again, I don't understand how these articles end up on CNN. It should be very objective, and yet it ends up always being very subjective. I don't wanna get my news from these type of sources because they will not tell the truth. They will always tell you biased information. So, I mean, I use CNN as an example. It's just easy to access. That's all. I could use any other. BBC perhaps is more objective. I don't know. People say. Anyway, the article was the 10 top foods in the world. So extremely pretentious title, of course. And if you go through that list of the 10 countries that they listed, they didn't include, for example, Russian food. So it means, to me, it's two things. First of all, it feeds into that whole anti-Russia thing. Hey, let's even kick Russia off the list, even from that kind of article. The other point is the person who wrote it never tried Russian food. Anyway, either scenario is not good. You should not be writing articles like that if you don't know everything. And I just want to add, of course, that Russian food is very good. People who go to Russia are very satisfied with the food there. So why would it not make the top 10? I don't know. It's really bizarre. What else we got? What else is in the torture list? All right, something about Netflix here. It's pretty small though, so you can't see it, but it's down just a little bit down. Netflix, well, I'm not sure. Again, if I want to talk about Netflix, but why not talk about the good shows of well, that I've seen this year anyway. So the first thing you have to understand is that I actually have a huge backlog of things. So I don't have much time to watch. So then you end up with this huge collection of stuff that goes to years before. But if I had to talk about this year in particular, and things might not be made in this year, but I watched them this year. Well, let's see. Well, The Expanse was pretty good. I like The Expanse. It's a pretty good sci-fi show. Of course, it could be better, but pretty good. Pretty good. Expanse was good. I watched some anime as well, so I would say Hoseki no Kuni definitely for me was up there. And well, you know, I watched some other stuff like The Man in the High Castle. I mean, this is again, it's not this year, but I only watched it this year. It was pretty good, definitely. So Netflix, yeah, Netflix actually, the most recent Netflix thing I watched was Black Mirror, and it's kind of hit and miss, really. Some episodes are good, or very good. Some episodes are really do nothing for me. But it's a good show overall. But anyway, talking about Netflix. And let's see what else we got. Can't really see too much here. Although there is one curious article here actually. It's right at the corner. I just have like two screens going. That's why I have to lean in all the time. There's this article about this baby. I haven't read it, but it says just the title itself. Like, come on, this is what I'm saying. Like, CNN writes titles like this. It's insane. So the title is "Why You Should Talk to Your Baby Like You Talk to Your Dog." I mean, I can immediately imagine people just up in arms. It's such a clickbait title, and that's actually my bigger point here. I think most of these websites, CNN, MSNBC, all of that, well, Fox too, doesn't matter. A lot of it has become clickbait. They figured out that, hey, it's a good way to make extra money. If people click, we get a certain amount of cents from that. If many people click, then we get hundreds of dollars. And I mean, I wish I knew how to do that, but it's all clickbait. It's really, there's no substance in it. There is nothing for the soul. And I mean soul like metaphorically speaking. There is no soul demonstrably, of course. That's pretty much it, I think. Just for fun and just for comparison's sake, let's check the BBC website. And even the BBC starts with the same thing, so it's back to the US primaries again, or midterms, I should say. Midterms, not primaries. Midterms. They have some soccer stuff. Of course, soccer, or football, I should say, is very big in England, so that's why they have it. And again, a bunch of clickbait articles, even here. I mean, there's one article here. And actually, since I'm talking about it, I'm just gonna... one second. So, let me see. Let's see if that works. Alright, there we go. That's better. Because it's always better if people see what I'm talking about. So here we have... Here we go. There's the article I want to talk about. Right in the middle there. How to improve your memory's flaws. Okay, it's again, it's one of those clickbait articles. I actually watched a seminar not too long ago, in the summer, I guess. It was by this guy Jim Quick, and apparently he works with a bunch of famous people like Elon Musk and Obama as well. And apparently he has some tricks to improve your memory or something like that. It's really incredible to me that a lot of people subscribe to that kind of stuff. I mean, it's really just a bunch of, I would say, nonsense, and also some stuff which is absolute common sense. So, for example, he was saying that he wakes up and he drinks a certain drink in the morning. Okay, well, that particular drink has many ingredients. What if I'm allergic to those ingredients? Then I can't have your drink. Then I can't have your energy, and then I can't have your, the brain woken up or whatever to remember things better. So there's that. And the other thing is, memory is, it's hard to like quantify it. For example, I have a very good memory of video games, and actually anything visual. That's why for me it's kind of a pain to watch a movie twice or more than that, because I remember it the first time extremely well. I don't have to watch it again and again. It's all kind of just playing back in my mind. Video games is the same thing. I remember very well the faces of characters, their attributes. I can turn on a game from 20 years ago or more, and I remember precisely which character to get, because and some people don't, and I don't think you can then do these things. We're all different. I'm wired this way. You're wired probably a different way. I, for example, though, can't remember much of what I read. So sometimes I have to read the same thing over and over again. Then I can remember. But just this once, it's probably not enough. But some people just kind of they can take a photo of the book as they read it. So, you know, kudos to them. But I can't do that. And, well, there's a good one here, actually. So, if you just scroll down, that's really quite different, actually. Here we go. It's just confusing. So it says, again, in the middle, right here, it says, what's behind denialism? So they're talking here about flat Earth and climate change denial. I like these topics. So let's start with the flat Earth. It's gonna be pretty quick. You can have a picture. You can actually Google, believe it or not, there is such a thing as Google. Let's see, if we just type Earth, and we don't care about the location in particular, you're gonna find pictures of Earth. And it looks, well, it looks round. The flat Earth in the model also looks round, but the difference is that it's a sphere, and the sphere is in 3D. And I don't know if you can see this picture. Let's try to make it a bit bigger. Anyway, if you see like this picture here, it actually shows a shadow. I mean, the light on one side, and then the shadow falls on the other side. On the flat Earth, basically, you would have either sun all the time or night all the time. That's just one thing about it. But flat Earth is just silly to me. Yeah, but climate change denial, that's much more serious, actually. Climate change denial is dangerous, and that's potentially one thing that will kill us all. If you have children, if you have the next generation growing up right now, I would really, really urge you to teach them about the dangers of climate change. I know this one guy. He lives in Toronto, and he moved into an apartment, a new apartment, and I didn't know at the time the precise geography, but I knew it was near the lake, Lake Ontario. So I told him before, while he was looking at the place, I told him that, hey, that place might get flooded. So he's like, oh, okay, well, this is just a lake, right? So it's, nothing's going to happen. And then, of course, fast forward a little bit, and the area was flooded, the cars driving through the water and stuff like that. So, in conclusion, unless you live in some kind of high mountain like Tibet or something, yeah, in Tibet it's unlikely that things like water definitely will affect you. It's going to be a very long time until it reaches you, if ever. But if you live somewhere near the water, then these things are going to happen, okay? So that's one thing. So now we have to deal with a bunch of people that are going to migrate from these areas, countries like Bangladesh, where over 100 million people live. They're going to have to move somewhere. The question is where? Where can they go? Some people might say, well, they just go to India. But India has no obligation to take these people. Literally, India can close the border and watch the people drown. India has no obligation to these people whatsoever. What about the Pacific Islands? What about that? Is Australia gonna take them? Australia has land. But again, Australia has no obligation to just take people in. As a sovereign nation, they have no obligation to do that. So, are they going to do that? Well, probably yes, out of compassion. But so migration waves like that, and of course the other thing, this is going to cause even a bigger amount of pressure on the food safety and water safety. So we already have wars over water. We already have wars over food. Now, if you multiply that by that effect of climate change, now you're gonna really have an almost apocalyptic scenario. So really, it's not, you know, it's not, this is not science fiction. This is really reality. So just to deny climate change, well, first of all, show me the evidence. I've never seen evidence. Every time somebody says, it's a hoax, and then I ask for evidence, no evidence. Where's your evidence? Where are you taking your evidence from? If I get some kind of information, that information always comes from fossil fuel sources. Always. It's always about ExxonMobil or something like that. Why in the right mind would I ever trust such a thing? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. The company that on purpose misleads people, and I'm supposed to just believe their articles? Come on. That's not serious at all. That's not proper thinking. And well, since it's here, let's scroll down a little bit, and we have this thing here about the phones, and I don't know, it's just a curious question perhaps, but I just wonder what the end game of mobile phones is exactly. What are they trying to do? Because first of all, I actually have an older phone in the bedroom. I can't get it because I have to unplug it, my mic, but it's about this big, I guess. It just fits into my hand, and it's a flip phone as well. Yeah, that was in vogue back then, and now it's bigger. So now we have this is the iPhone 7, and actually, since I still use it sometimes just for game purposes, I have the iPhone 4, so we just put them next to each other, and the 7 is just, yeah, it's bigger, definitely, and it's faster. So on the old one, I play games with some lag. Here there's no lag. Pretty good. But what is the end game of phones? What are they trying to achieve here? Because it seems to me that they started quite small, and now they're trying to get bigger. But we already have something bigger. It's called an iPad. So is eventually the cell phone is going to be the size of an iPad? That would be very, very strange. And in fact, here you can see on the picture here that the picture, it almost looks twice as wide already. That's insane. Try imagining a person like barely able to fit. I mean, my hand is pretty big. Let's say the phone is the size of my hand. You would look like this. You'd look like a total asshole. I mean, who would do that? It's not cool at all. Not cool. And then actually under here, so you see the BBC is a little bit better than CNN. There's a few more interesting articles here that you can talk about at least. So, and yes, I am checking the chat from time to time if people are watching. There's an article here, right here, which talks about the Japan youth suicides hit 30-year high. So, well, I'd have to read the article because I have to know what their research material is. But I will say this though: Japan has a lot of issues, very serious issues, and it seems to me that here nobody is trying to address them. At least in America, people are making some noise about the issues, and people are so powerless that they can't bring about the change required. But in Japan, though, it just seems that everybody is just complacent. And nothing's happening. Of course, some people are like in some online forums, but that never leaves the forum. So then it's kind of pointless. When it comes to suicide, though, well, that's a known issue that Japan has issues with that. Adults as well. But I would say that it's because of the pressure that society puts on people here. So school is okay, and then once you basically go to work, you're supposed to fit into this one mold that the society requires, and you can't be different because difference is not appreciated here. So some people just crack. They can't take it. I am actually more for diversity. So if a person doesn't want to wear a suit to work, for example, which is very popular here, but if the person just wears something business casual, let's say like a good shirt and a nice sweater, perhaps, why is that not acceptable? Some workplaces require you to shave completely. I mean, mustache and beard, of course, nothing else. I hope, anyway. Why? What's the point of this? Why? Does a person without a beard is more intelligent or something? A person with no mustache is much more clever? No. It's old rules. It makes no sense in modern era, and yet they still exist, and people still follow them. People are tired of that. People don't want that. But you're not going to change the system by just participating in forums. That's not how things change. Let's see what else. There's one article right here, just under. Another good piece, I would say. Again, I don't read the articles. I'm just going through the headlines. I'm just trying to reason. So, Wall Street gains after US midterms. Is anyone surprised, really, that Wall Street is doing well anyway? Wall Street, that's the thing that people don't understand. People think that, oh, Wall Street, the NASDAQ and the Dow are high or record high, whatever. So that means that everything is fine and dandy, right? But then, no, you have a lot of people who are underpaid, a lot of people who can't afford a quite cheap surgery, people who don't want to call ambulances because, yeah, it costs a lot of money for the ambulance to come and pick you up if you're sick. So people don't even want to do that. And then you want to tell me that Wall Street and the actual economy is actually like really related? No. Wall Street is Wall Street, and the people are the people. And Wall Street gains money, the people don't. That's the bottom line. That's kind of in a nutshell what's going on. People don't want to see that picture, though. They don't want to understand that. Ooh. Wow. I guess that's pretty much all I can find. Not bad, though, from two sources. Maybe I should do just CNN and BBC then, because it seems like good balance. BBC has more good articles, it looks like. So my original idea was probably correct, that BBC is in general more interesting, whereas CNN has more kind of garbage articles, just clickbait, just to get your clicks and get more money, as if they don't have enough. Anyway, so that's all I can find for today. I think it's a new section. I don't know if I'll keep doing it, but I think it's good to talk about the news. It's good to talk about the news from a detached point of view. So I live in Japan, so I look at the news from a very kind of broad side, let's say, with a broad look. And well, it might just help to have a different spin on things. So anyway, we'll see what we do, but for now that's all, and I'll see you next time.